Chett Hopper, and that's 14 minutes.
I don't need 14 minutes. I'm Chett Hopper, 6898 Alderwood Drive, and I live in Millington, Tennessee. Since I do have 14 minutes, though, I do want to offer, before I get started, a courtesy. If there's anybody here who is sleepy, and you need some coffee, or you're tired of looking at people sharing their life stories, I'll take 5 minutes of my time and let you go get something. Anybody want to take me up on it? Because once I start speaking, if you're snickering, that's disrespectful. If you're looking at your phone, I'm sorry my cohort wasn't here to hear that one, that's disrespectful, and so is leaving during the people's crisis hour, their hour of need, when you're supposed to be here for them. The people who voted against this, where are they at? Who am I talking to? Am I preaching to the choir? What have I got, 3 I could swing now? Maybe? At best? Those are my best odds? Any of you guys go to Tunica? That's as good as we get it. Everybody has already shared their familial stories and how their parents and their loved ones and everything gave to this city. But let me ask you guys a question. Person to person. When's the last time you did something from the seat of that council that you would do to a best friend? You look at something, tell them something, and then just mean it. When did it happen? Well, we'll talk about it. Let's do this. Well, let's take a look and we'll send it back to committee. Well, you know, we got to come up with Robert's Rule of Order. Oh, what's Robert's Rule? Oh, I'm not sure. Let's look it up. Oh, wait, we may have to do it. Well, I'm not sure exactly what it is. But 2/3 majority vote? No, it's usually a majority vote. What time is it in Guam? That's what we sit through up here. So, if you want people to come to work and do their job, none of you look like you're past maybe having a heart attack or tripping and falling. But you sure as hell want that ambulance to be out there to pick you up and to take you to the hospital. You sure want that policeman when you're calling up. Hey, I tell you what, nobody ever faces crime because you guys wear $1,000 suits all day. Hey, Mr. Flynn, I want you when you leave today, go walk around Horton Gardens for a few hours. I bet you experienced some crime today. I bet you learned what it's like today. How about you guys? Go travel Foot Homes. Walk through Foot Homes and do a little tour of civilians. Get in touch with your community at Foot Homes. You want to witness a crime today? You don't think the crime's bad because you don't go where the crime is. Some people can't help it. Anybody up here willing today to take a 75% cut in their pay for the good of the city? That's what you said is the best thing for us to do. You're a retiree. You're good at math. Your daddy has billions. You get $2,000 a month. It costs you $1,500 a month for your health insurance. What's that percentage? That's 75 all day long, right? Could you live on 25% of what you make? Come on, man. These are just real questions for real people. Not ideals and businesses and hedge funds and all this stupid crap. You're worried about buying another vehicle or having another $1,200 freaking lease on a Cadillac. I used to sell cars. You can do it for $599 all day long with good credit. Got to be kidding me. The people who have come up here and talked to you about their loved ones, there's been more than one. There hasn't been 1,000. There are probably 1,000, but you've had a small representation of what exactly they go through when they come up here. And I understand that. I understand that sometimes when you think you're in a battle, you have to strategize. Sometimes you have to be willing to go into the fight and lose some people to get to the entire goal. But I tell you what, not one, much less 5, much less 10, much less the 100 that were in here today's family members' lives are worth a broke down piece of crap pile of rubble in the middle of Raleigh called the Raleigh Springs Mall for $67 million. It is not true. And you can't convince me otherwise. You think you're going to revitalize Raleigh with one building? What about the police substation that got voted, passed through council? We're going to give a couple $1 million. Put a parking lot right there for the substation. We broke ground on that yet? Negative. You can fool some of the people some of the time. You guys got these big degrees. You got plaques on your walls. I graduated with honors from the University of Memphis too, Mr. Flynn. I commend you. I've read a lot about you. I try not to go in uninformed. I read a quote the other day saying that you were the black sheep of the fish out of water in the political community. I applaud you for not playing party politics. Even though you're against me on this right here, I appreciate you trying to at least get a scope before you maximize and say, well, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, that's how I'm going to vote. I might be at odds with you on this, but I thank you for that. Thank you very much. Now, I just want one of you to admit, before I get off here right now, that if it was you yourself or a family member, maybe even a third cousin you didn't like, you would be willing to take 75% of their income away if it would help the city. No, if it would help your neighborhood. Let's put it on the same scale. Let's make it 1-to-1. You want the people who work in the city, who get a paycheck for the city, to carry the entire burden and to be almost put into an extreme case of poverty for the collective good. And that's wonderful. Do you have a relative that you would ask to do that? If it was just your household, your family, and you guys said, you know what, I'm going to need 75% of your income, or me and my kids aren't going to be able to make it today, would they give it to you? Would you give it to somebody else? That's just real talk. I don't have a tie on. Oh, and Mr. Collins, I'm sorry you got misquoted by our buddies at News Channel 3. I know you didn't mean anything by that, sir. I know you got misquoted about suits and ties. I know you know what work is, man. We got your back. Thank you. Now, come on, I'm waiting for an answer. I see you sleepy. You need some coffee, Mr. Morrison? Answer me. Are you sleepy? Do you need coffee? Good. Now, would you give up 75% of your income for a family member to maintain their household? It's a real question. I'm not being rhetorical, in case you guys missed the point. Would you do it? It's hard to say yes or no, isn't it? Because if you say no, then you're a hypocrite. And if you say yes, you're even worse. So answer the question. Would you do it? Would you make the sacrifice for the good, the collective good? Yeah, that's all right. A non-answer is still an answer, Mr. Morrison. Thank you. Mr. Conrad, Captain Jerry Springer, how about you? You be willing to take a 75% hit to fund somebody in your family? Oh yeah, I'm not looking around. I'm talking to you. Would you do it? For the collective good now. You got aunts, uncles, sisters, cousins that may not be able to get grocery money if you don't. Could you do it? What are you saying? You can speak to me. I'm right here. I just can't hear you. Your mic not be on, Mr. Lowry. I used to work at Wolf Camera. You used to drop off pictures with me 4 times a week at Wolf Camera to get them developed. I spoke with you and talked with you and thought you were just the nicest guy. And then, now I know that last little vote turned around to give everybody their 4.6% back because we were such hard-working citizens. It was just a kick in the nuts to see if you could get this passed. It's shitty to flip like that. You flipped on your constituents. You voted based on what people thought you were and what people elected you to do, and you flipped on them this time. It's low down, man. You wouldn't do it to your mama. You wouldn't do it to your friends. And I don't know why you're doing it to us. Slow down. If you guys are mad that I'm calling you out personally, I'm sorry. These are personal choices. You guys vote as a group, yes, but those groups made up of individuals. You have to be willing to account. When I mess up at work, if I take a 911 call and I get the address wrong and somebody dies, I end up in court. If you guys make a vote, 15, 20, 50, 100 retirees become indigent and they end up dying. Well, we did it for the collective good of the city. We had to. You guys know that's not right, man. I don't care if you have mom and daddies or not. Whoever brought you up taught you better than that. And you can't convince me otherwise. I don't care what LLCs you're a part of. I don't care what building funds you're a part of. If you guys are raking in 60, 70 million at a business over a net profit and you spend it all out and you can hide money here or there. My degree's not in finance. My degree's in anthropology, which is the study of people. And I guess that's why I care about all these people. If I was just looking at some numbers, maybe I'd feel better about it. But I'm not. I'm going to share with you a 911 call that has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. I used to be 400 pounds. I lost 200 pounds. I became a licensed skydiver. I've competed at world championships in the martial arts thing. I've done just about everything you can do, and I'm not a quitter. So if this happens again next year, just get used to me. I'll be in my sleeveless shirts then too. I took a phone call from a 6-year-old girl. And I said, Memphis Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency? And she told me. You need some coffee? It's a good story. You can't glare me down, sir. I don't care what kind of law degree you have. Come ride foot homes with me. Come ride in the back of the unit with me. I'll ask you, we'll do it. I'll do the paperwork. I can get it approved. Good, come do it. He'll do it. She called and she said, my daddy's not breathing. And I said, okay. Are you scoffing at me, dude? Yeah, I love how all the news cameras are gone. We're getting up here, we're getting disrespected. Hey, man, you guys own them all. Could you get one to come down here and film this? I was online last week. Can I get a picture of you guys scoffing and sneering at these people dying? You are doing it, sir. I'm telling you, you are. I can tell you I'm a giraffe all day long, but I can't go eat out this tree. Back to my story. I said, is he awake? That's part of our script. No, sir, he's not. As calm as she could be. Is he breathing? No, sir, he's not. I said, well, listen, sweetheart, you need to try to get him in the floor and remove any pillows from beneath his head. I can't. He's too big. Okay, are you there by yourself? Yes, Mom went to the store. She'll be back in a minute. Okay, sweetheart, well, if you can, see if you can tilt him over onto the couch, and I want you to look in his mouth and look in his nose and see if you can feel and hear your breathing sounds. She says, no, sir, he's not breathing. I say, okay, I'm going to tell you how to do CPR. I want you to tilt his head back, pinch his nose entirely closed, and blow 2 deep breaths into his lungs. And she says, I can't. And I said, why, sweetheart? She said, because it's gone. I said, what do you mean, hon? What's gone? His mouth is gone. I think he shot himself. Christmas Day, 2009. I'll never forget it. So I told that child, I said, sweetheart, I want you to just get whatever you need, and I want you to go to your room, and I want you to wait for your mom to get home. See, what happened was that was a divorced father who called the day before and asked, could he come spend Christmas with his child? And because he was upset at his wife and she went to the store, he killed himself in front of that child. I told that child to go to her room, take something to comfort her, and wait for her mother to get home. Does that sound like it may have been the right thing to do? You guys think? Should I have made her sit there and try to peel around in the guy's face to try to figure out how she was going to blow into it at 6 years old? Let me tell you what I got. Because I didn't persist and keep her on the phone, I got written up. I was in an administrative hearing for that phone call and received actual disciplinary action for not having her try to save his life. And the only other time I've ever been that let down in my entire life is by you people. You've done the exact same thing. You shot the city's face off, and you want to punish the people who are trying to find your mouth to blow back in it. And it's just as wrong as the day is long. All of you know it.